Okay, so now we're going to talk about staying with the topic of causes of autism spectrum disorder. We're now going to talk about the environmental factors that have been found to cause or increase the likelihood of ASD among children and adults, but primarily children. Um, so there are three major environmental factors that play into this. The first one is exposure to toxic heavy metals. So, as mentioned before, ASD is more common in urban areas compared to rural areas where environmental toxins are more abundant. Researchers have concluded that early and persistent exposure to the following heavy metals considered toxic leads to the early onset of ASD in children. The metals are as follows: mercury, a compound named trimethyltin, TMT, commonly used in plastic and paint, real reassuring, right? Toxic chemical like that being used in plastic and paint, commonly used items. Both of these have been shown to cause damage in the same regions of the brain shown to be abnormal in individuals with ASD. Very profound finding. Those two metals have also been found to cause hyperactivity, susceptibility to seizures, impaired learning, inhibited social interaction, auditory damage, and impairment of other senses. For example, the ability to feel pain. The fact that these effects are the symptoms we commonly see in individuals with ASD is certainly no coincidence. Something scientists have been noting. In addition to mercury and TMT, early exposure to lead, ammonium, and arsenic is also thought to lead to the development of ASD. Studies have shown that increased levels of all of the toxic heavy metals just listed have been found in the hair, the blood, and the teeth of individuals with ASD. Moving on, the deficiency of certain essential metals can also cause ASD. There are some types of metals that we need to defend ourselves and decrease our risk of developing things like ASD. From iron, selenium, and copper are metals referred to as essential metals in the literature. In other words, the ingestion of these metals is essential for health and well-being, whereas if we are deficient in them, such deficiencies have been found to either cause brain damage directly or may increase an individual's susceptibility to toxic metals or their sensitivity to them, thus indirectly causing brain damage. The third is exposure to chemical toxins. Prenatal exposure to dioxins, chemicals found in plastics, again, a very nasty chemical found in plastics. And I don't know if any of you have noticed, but our world is surrounded by plastic. We live in a plastic world. This is very, very scary. Plastic is not a good thing. We need to find some alternatives. That's my soapbox for a couple of seconds there. So prenatal exposure to dioxins, DDT, a pesticide, atypical steroids, trichloroethylene, and toluene, a chemical found in gasoline, has also been empirically shown to increase the risk of a child developing ASD. The final environmental factor that has been associated with sort of a cause of ASD is infectious viruses. Research also shows that early exposure to certain infectious viruses increases the likelihood of developing ASD because the limbic system and temporal lobes, which are the areas of the brain that will be discussed later, so I won't go into detail about them now. These areas of the brain have been found to be sensitive to exposure of the following infectious diseases: cytomegalovirus, can't pronounce that, rubella, Epstein-Barr virus, and herpes.